the evil and dark side of us as fans is to make sure a guy does not get whatever it is he wants. If you know the guy wants the title fight, then you don't want him to get the title fight. If a guy wants in a specific weight class or a specific organization, you want to take that from him and make sure he doesn't get it. But it appeared with Ben Askren, as soon as that one prong fell, right? He sucked, he was boring, and he wouldn't be in the UFC. As soon as that, okay, he's in the UFC. As soon as that prong got taken away, then it seemed as though the fans were willing to just admit, okay, the gig is up on the other two. He doesn't suck, and he never did, and he's not that boring and never was. It just seemed like a package deal to insult the guy, and we were winning because we knew he wanted to fight in a specific cage, and he wasn't able to do it. So our evil side was winning out. And if that wasn't enough, when we thought he was down, we also wanted to kick him as well. We took that the third prong, that he wasn't in the octagon, as the down. So then we were going to kick him and say, oh, it's good he's not, because he's not fun to watch and he's not very skilled anyway. But now that he's here, all of a sudden, not only are the fans going, man, this guy could go right to the top. Oh, man, I can't wait to see him fight. Why would you want to watch a boring fighter fight? Apparently he's not so boring, is he? And even the fellow fighters who did help with some of that narrative, boy, where are they all at now? And I can't say that about all of them. A few have spoken up. Colby Covington spoke right up like he always does. And Darren Till popped right up too. And a number of other guys. Mike Perry did as well. And then suffered for it. But a few guys stepped up, but only a few guys. And here's the tough part about Ben is I don't know what weight class he's going to go. And I know the common belief that he's going to go welterweight. And we probably don't even need to have any speculative conversation on this, and we can just say welterweight. The reason that it is speculative for me is he would go all the way down to 155 pounds. That would be a tremendous ask of him. To put in perspective, that would be even lower than he competed at his senior year of college. It would be significantly lower than he competed at for the Olympic team way back in 2008. And what do we all know just about ourselves? Is that over time as human beings, we don't generally get smaller with time. We tend to gain some weight. So you can see where that would be really tough, and it would be way lighter than he's ever competed at in mixed martial arts. But he is willing to do it. So you at least have that discussion. I think that gets swatted away. I don't think that's likely, but it's out there. Talks of the 165-pound division, which haven't really been going anywhere, but there's talks, so we'll put it out there. 170, where he's undefeated and world champion at. But one thing that a lot of people have forgotten is that when he was over at he was one championship. He was there at a time when they were very forward-thinking and proactive on guys cutting weight. And they took everybody and moved them up a weight class. So he did go from 170 to a middleweight. So many people don't know that. I feel like I have to just tell people when they hear me say it, they go, oh, really? I didn't realize that. Yeah, he'd been fighting at 185 pounds. He also did a lot of competitions as that. It was usually the competitions he was a little less serious about that weren't for championships or teams. They were just events here and there on the in-between on his calendar and schedule for his amateur wrestling. But there was a number of times. I remember he entered the Sunkiss tournament at 185 pounds. So that window is at least open, and that window is supported when he is coming in as a top guy who is going to take, according to Dana White, and it's a quote, he is going to be competing with, right out of the gate, a top 5 opponent. So if you're going to bring in an undefeated hammer who's never lost a round, and won a championship of every organization he's ever been part of, and you're going to bring him into a weight class that he is openly telling you, I am not going to take on the champion of this weight class. And you're going to put him in the top 5, okay? Because if Ben wins his first debut in the UFC, which we know is against a top 5 guy, then the very next day he's a top 5 guy. there's not a lot of room left. Top 5 guy means your next fight's a semifinal match. All of a sudden, boom, you go from the top 4 or 5 to the number 1 contender in a weight class that he's saying, I'm not going to take on the sitting champion. I just offer you that because it does leave the window open that they might be going to make him a middleweight. Particularly if we're all beating the drum that he sucks and you're going to try to get his butt kicked. Stack the deck against him. The irony of the entire situation is he does not care. Listen, I want to tell you guys about Ben Askren because I'm just not positive all you guys know. This is going to be a very refreshing mindset. This is going to be a guy that they are not used to working with, that they used to get to work with, and that they haven't seen in a very long time. If you put Ben Askren in a fight at a weight class where the odds makers and the fans and the promotion and the media and Ben himself thought I'm biting off too much to chew, guess what? He's going to show up anyway. And he's never going to complain. It's a totally different mindset than what they have been dealing with. He will compete with anybody at any of those weights I just said. Anytime. I think he can beat those guys. I am fully aware that there's likely guys out there that can beat him too. With his mindset, one has nothing to do with the other. And the reason that is so ironic, as I'm telling you, he is going to go from the guy that Dana White did not want to sign to Dana White's favorite guy. Mark my words. Dana will be coming out with interviews in a short period of time going, oh my gosh, I wish everybody was like Ben Askren. Mark my words. But I also will admit to you, even though I've spent 10 minutes doing it, I think I am making too much about the weight class. I'm quite sure he's coming in at welterweight. I'm just saying there is a little bit of dialogue out there, particularly when you look at the leading contender as far as who's taken the bait and who's pushed back and who's putting his foot down, which appears to me to be Darren Till. Perhaps I had this wrong and it has not been officially made, but I thought that Darren Till, where we left off with him, was going up to 185 pounds. I thought that he had made that decision definitively. Perhaps I've missed something and he changed his mind and is staying at 170. But if it is Darren Till, and Darren sure appears that he'd like it to be Darren Till, all of us, we got no problem seeing Darren Till versus anybody. Darren's fun. But if Darren is going up to middleweight, then does that mean Ben is going to middleweight? Or does it mean he's going to start at middleweight? I don't actually know the answer. But as I try to form this and shape this and predict this for you guys, but also with you guys, as we all do this together, and we usually get them right. Very seldomly are we wrong. We pay attention, we see the evidence, and in this business where there's smoke, there's fire. If we're right about Darren Till, it does open the possibility, well, in what weight class? Where exactly are they going to do that? And I don't think there's a wrong answer. I know that the UFC loves to have the divisions and keep everybody straight and narrow in their division. I know that. That is a difference in mindset on, say, Dana White and Scott Coker. Dana is looking for those matches within the division, and Scott Coker is looking for fun matches with the guys that he's got. I would just suggest that every now and then, and whether you do it with Ben or we just use it for Ben right now, but you do it with some other guys, make the fun matches. Don't be afraid to throw a fight against Darren Till and Ben Askren at 182.5 pounds. Don't be afraid to do that because us fans, we don't care at all. We won't hold it for them or against them. If those guys want to work something out and come up with some catch weight, I mean, that is a very common thing to do. In boxing, hasn't carried over to MMA as much, but if you want to start doing it, go right ahead. We're not going to push back. As a whole, not just with what do you do with Ben Askren. I'm talking as a whole right now. If you want to start mixing and matching some guys and they got some heat with one another and somehow find a way out of each other's crosshairs because they can't get the weight class right, call them on it. Let's just agree on a different weight. Not everything has to be about a championship. Not everything has to be about a title. And it's not the promoters that set those rules. It's us, the fans. So, guys, am I right or am I wrong about that? We don't always care if it's in your division, if it has ranking consequences, or if it's got a title at the end of the night. So there are some fights out there that we just want to see.